Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to another stream of EU4. It's been a while since I streamed. I've been very busy with, speedrun, trying to beat my record time, my personal best time for the one-tag world conquest. So I did it. It was extremely hard, one of the hardest things that I ever done in EU4. But I finally made it. So what I have for you here is a recording of the opening moves. Last time that I streamed, everyone was wondering what were the moves that allowed me to do, well, to do as well as I did during those streams. So I'm gonna show you the opening moves, the improved opening moves. Like I said, this wasn't easy. I made it at a third attempt. Every improving with each one of them. It was very frustrating actually to get to 15-15 and realize that I was not moving fast enough. So I went back to the drawing board to see what could be improved. That actually happened several times. So anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna press play here on this recording. So I'm gonna comment this while I show the recording. I'm gonna comment it. So as some of you guessed, I started as Ming. Just I'm gonna pause it here just for a little bit. So the last time that I did a speed run was okay, let's leave it running. Last time that I did a speed run was with Manchu back in 1.21, if I recall correctly, or 1.22, one of those patches. So there was an exploit that caught my attention, the Kyoto exploit, where I had unlimited monarch points. So by the year 1470, I had like 200 force limits, basically, like I said, unlimited points, which obviously translates into almost unlimited money, and well, it removes a big part of the difficulty of the run. I mean, monarch points are a constraint. If you have unlimited monarch points, that's one less thing that you have to worry about. Doesn't mean it makes it easier. It's just one less thing that you have to worry about. So in this run, I didn't add unlimited monarch points. So when I started strategizing, I was like, how the hell can I beat at a time like 1546, where I played with unlimited monarch points after 1470. That was after thinking of it for a while. I reached the conclusion that I had to turn Ming into a Horde to make it, to actually have a chance of actually beating 1546. Actually, my goal was to conquer the world in 100 years, or less. But if I manage to beat the Kyoto exploit, the run where I conquer the world with the Kyoto exploit, I would be very happy in a patch where I didn't use that exploit. So Hello, Birdman, Ciburja. I am Portuguese, just like Birdman said. YOLO Scope, hello. And hello again, FP. Thanks for the support again. But like I was saying, so I thought of how I could do it, and the first thing that came to my mind was I have to make it. I have to turn Ming into a horde somehow, and of course that's not possible. But the next best thing is to start as Ming and conquer a dude that's a horde. Give them all my provinces, and then take them back, and then release and play as. So, like you guys, some of you guys guessed, that's what I did. It's going very slowly. The recording, this actually takes time, so I have to find a way to speed this up somehow. I'm a bit tired because I didn't sleep today. Basically, I slept only a couple of hours, so I'm more tired than usual. So this is the usual stuff. Deal with the states, try to grab as much monarch points and manpower, money. That's that stuff. So as Ming, we are the strongest country in the world, with the country with the highest development. We start with a pretty strong economy, which lets us recruit level 3 advisors and promote them all the way to level 5. This helps compensate for an atrocious ruler that we have. A 1-1-1, pretty crap. So, I was talking about how to turn Ming into a horde somehow. So then I thought, well, I can, because I remembered about the Kyoto exploit, something that Barbecue for the Win came up with, the Kyoto exploit. He managed to, he thought about how to set up a way to grab Kyoto and give it back. So keep doing it forever without the vassal becoming disloyal. With that in mind, with that knowledge in mind, because that's still part of the mechanics or the algorithm that made the Kyoto exploit possible, is still available, is still doable in the game, which is what made the Kyoto exploit possible. Besides the badly written events, if I may say so, was also that the liberty desire he hits for taking provinces away from vassals caps at plus 1,000. So I needed to somehow decrease the liberty desire of a neighboring horde like Aishi, and I'll explain why Aishi is so important, or why I picked it. But like I was saying, the fastest way to bring its liberty desire down by 1,400 points, because that would be needed. That's exactly what's needed to be able to give them all our the provinces from Ming, and then take them back without having them being disloyal. So I'm gonna speed this up. This is not gonna keep playing this slowly, but I'm still talking about the general strategy, so it doesn't. this is just like you have something to watch while I talk about the general strategy. Then I'll actually speed this up. And but like I was saying, so with that in mind, I had a base strategy to try to beat what I did back in 1.21, if I recall correctly. Theoretically, it was possible, because even though because I only started expanding in 1.21 after doing the heavy expansion after, if I recall correctly, 1470. So I would start as Ming and turn basically Ming into a horde, and then in like 10 years or so, or under 10 years, then I would have a couple of decades to try to catch up, try to expand quickly, or as quickly as I could, or as possible, to try to compete with the start, with that start. That just to give you an idea, I had like 200 regiments in 1470 as Manchu when I used the Kyoto exploit. As a horde, we basically don't have many or any issues at all with monarch points. The issue early is the lack of military and the lack of ideas. So as long as we have a strong military, with raising can give us enough points to take up and grab ideas as fast as possible. So that was the general strategy. So basically, in the early stages, I thought about Manchu because I really like them, and I would conquer Ming in like 20 years, but that wouldn't be fast enough. So I devised these. The next stage was to try to figure out how the hell could I decrease the liberty desire of Aishi by 1400 points in in the time frame needed to pull this off. So I was like, okay, the way the loans work, the lower your development, the more the heavier, the more expensive it's gonna be to pay for a fort. So I was like, okay, I need to give this guy, I need to reduce its development to the bare minimum possible, which is 5 development for Aishi. And then give it a shit ton of forts for them to pay. And then I'll repay the loans and really quickly achieve that objective. So the first target is obviously Aishi. That's what I'm doing right now. I've set up everything to like making as much people as possible as tributaries. At least the most important ones, Kushin and Jianzhou. They're the most important ones because they border Aishi. And since our capital is in Asia, and tributaries function just like vassals with regard to taking territory, if there's the province is adjacent to a tributary in the same continent as the capital, as our capital, we can take it. Because that was a problem. You see, Girin, Aishi snakes, it's like a little snake going towards Yeren, that green dude up north. So, and the 5 development provinces is in the middle of the country, so I could only do that by using that adjacency mechanic. So I made them a tributary right before attacking Aichi. The reason why I've selected Aichi is because they can be annexed in one war. They're under 100% war score. Their neighbors like Jiangsu and Yaran, they require more than one war. So I of course selected Aichi for these. As you could see, I've taken some loans to be able to build a shit ton of forts in Korea. Korea is a tributary, so we can build stuff inside their territory, just like we would do for a regular vassal. So I've made Ashikaga a tribute rival tool just for the little bit of power projection, extra power projection. It helps. So now I have to win this war. Reduce Aichi to just 5 development, because then that's gonna decrease their loan size from, I don't know, 30 ducats or something along those lines to just 2 ducats. So every 2 ducats that they have to pay for the forts translates into a loan. Each loan not only increases their inflation, which is a bad thing, and I'll talk about that later. Each loan lets me decrease their liberty desire by 5 when I repay it. So they have to take a shit ton of loans before they reach minus 1300 liberty desire. But like you've seen, I built a shit ton of forts, so... Okay, let's fast forward these just slightly. Is there a way to speed these up? Yup. Okay, let's have a look at the chat. So while we see this war, mobile. Yes, this is the IV Speedrun that I played like over 1 month ago, but this is the improved version. This went through several iterations until I was happy with the results. Hello, Mordek, Sergeant Baker, Zabis. I tried that mass force strategy, and AI removed the forts in a couple of years. Yeah, that's why I'm gonna do what you're gonna see soon. To prevent that, I of course had to prevent that from happening, and you'll see very soon how I dealt with that. By the way, I cancelled I think it was Karadal and Sari Gyogir. I cancelled them both as tributaries. There's a reason for that, which is to let me it's to make it easier for me to go beat up the Oirat and the other dude, Shagatai. But first things first. So, like I said, because I made their neighbors a tributary, I was allowed to do this. Or else I would have to take Yulan and let him keep like one of the provinces in the north, which wouldn't be enough. With all this aggressive expansion, Yaran gets very pissed, but since they need a few days to change their stance towards me, I managed to make them a tributary, which is of course important. So I built a fort in the Aishi's capital to help out with the Liberty Desire thingy. Alright, I'm not gonna core those provinces from Aishi, I'm just gonna keep the overextension until they have minus 1400 Liberty Desire, then I'll give them the province back. I needed to save some monarch points. Hello, dual V4. Again Ming, and plus 1 million 100,000 tributaries. Not really. Well, the principle is the same or similar, but because tributaries are extremely important, especially early on. I mean, for most countries, they're very important the whole game or the majority of the game, but as a horde, the tributary thing is just important early on. So, anyway, I've just released Shu. These guys are gonna have a very special role in this campaign. Both Shu, I think it's Miao, that guy in the south, and that I've just released too, and to make them a tributary. These are the shittiest provinces that I had available to release, to return, and then make a tributary. I needed to release another one, I think it was Shun or Shu, but I made the mistake of giving the province to an estate, so I have to wait until November to grab it, to remove it from the estate, and then release the dude. So I'm making as many tributaries as I possibly can. I'm waiting for the forts to complete. 600 days to go. These guys are going to be important, at least for the early game. They're going to be extremely important, and you'll realize why soon enough. So as you can see, Sari Gyogir and Karadel, they usually ally the Oirats or are guaranteed or become a tributary of, so they're really interesting for this opening. That lets me bypass the alliances, you know, so I declare on one of those small dudes and I go beat up their overlords or their allies. So lets me bypass the alliances, the Oirat, from the Oirat, and the alliances from Chagatai. They usually ally some pesky hordes like Uzbek and, you know, all the way to Crimea. So at this point I didn't want to fight them, so I had to do that. And YOLO's 420 YOLO scope just subscribed. Thank you for your support. It helps me keep streaming. If it wasn't for the support of the people on Patreon and here on Twitch, I wouldn't be streaming because, well, it's been hard for me these last years. So everything helps. So I'm still waiting for the forts to complete, and like I said, making as many tributaries as possible, because they're gonna be useful for Aishi later on. I'm gonna make sure I inherit all the tributaries, because the tributaries behave like vassals. So when we annex a dude that has vassals, we inherit their colonial nations, his colonial nations, or his tributaries, vassals, that stuff. So with that in mind, I made as many tributaries as I possibly could, so that once I became Aishi, well, I had a very strong power base that would give me monarch points, manpower, and some ducats too. So, because the AI, just like a viewer said a few minutes ago, the AI most of the times ditches the forts. The only way to prevent it from ditching the forts is to declare war right before or on the day the forts complete. So we don't but it's better to declare war the day before the forts complete. Under those circumstances, the AI won't teach them. So that's what I'm preparing to do. That's why I split all those stacks, those regiments, and I'm sending them to instantly occupy the forts. So that fixes two problems. One, the time needed to take the forts, it's reduced to the bare minimum, 30 days or so. And second, the AI won't have time to ditch the forts. Alright, maybe I should speed this up. Like I said, at this point I'm just trying to grab tributaries. Rather important so that I don't... This is gonna end up on YouTube. I don't want to cut too much. Simply because, you know, there are always people that don't understand how things were done and accuse you of cheating, you know. It is what it is. I'm not too worried with that, but I've seen it before. So I would rather not cut too much. And maybe I can reply to some of your questions. It's just a, yes, bust. It's just a few ducats for -5% liberty desire. Hello, War of Luck. Where have you been, dude? It's been so long, says War of Luck. I mean, I've been trying to conquer the world, beat my record. I did it offline simply because I probably paused like thousands of times during this campaign. So it's simply not feasible. The amount of attention that this requires, it's not... I mean, it's extremely hard to do this while streaming. So I decided I'm not gonna stream because, or else it's gonna be extremely tedious for the people watching. Where there was times where I played for 5 minutes, then took 20 minutes break. You know, go think what I should do next, and clear my head, then come back and with a clear mind and fix the issues, fix the problems, and come up with a solution. And it's extremely hard to do that while I'm streaming. I don't think it's possible. At least not for me. It's extremely difficult. I already did it once with the Kyoto exploit thingy, but the comparison, the quality of my gameplay, it was substantially lower when I played the Kyoto exploit campaign. Way lower. Too many mistakes. Hello, Inside Toast. Welcome. Nice to see you. I missed you guys too. So we're everything's ready to beat up Korea. I'm extremely worried with the rebels, because if some rebels spawn, they need to die, or else I won't be able to release Aishi, you know? I'm still paying for the forts. Ming speedrun, not really. This is just the beginning of the campaign. Okay, this is just normal stuff with regard to estates. Let's fast forward just a little bit to the war with Korea. Okay, some rebels have spawned. I probably have some stacks there to kill him. I want a wipe as an opening move. So I'm stationing a pretty big army where Korea has its main force, so that I may take advantage of the low morale. When we declare war on a vassal or on a tributary, our troops don't get black flagged, so that's why this is possible. So I had a date for the completion of the forts the day before I declared war. So I need, or the day I think it was the day before, but this went through so many iterations. It must have been the day before. Now I have to move the troops, give them some, send them elsewhere, just to let the fort finish. Then I'll cancel the move. Yeah, that's what I did. I have to do this in order for the fort to finish. Yup, it's the start of the latest world conquest, but an improved version. Way improved, which basically allowed me to smoke my whatever I did with my first attempt. Like I said, this went through several iterations. Over the almost 2 months, at the very least one month and a half. So, as you can see, most of these forts will fall 30 days after completion, give or take. Wipe achieved. Looks like I've screwed up with at least one of those forts. Then, of course, I had to do lots of micro, lots of patience. You have to be extremely patient. I know at some point, especially the previous run where I went all the way to 15, 22, 21, 22, just to realize that I was not moving fast enough. I mean, I probably would get very close to the goal, but I had no guarantees that I would make it. I was simply not moving fast enough, so I went back to the drawing board and how the hell can I improve on what I did? And I came up with a solution and actually beat the time. I wanted to conquer the world in 100 years, and I actually managed to do way better than that. But I basically smoked what I did in the Kyoto Run exploit, where well, I had unlimited points. Over here I didn't have unlimited points, and I actually did better. If I was gonna do this again, I would do even better. I made several mistakes, especially in the late game, because, well, if I had time to play 4 hours a day or something instead of sessions of sometimes 14 hours, maybe I would do even better. But what I'm trying to say is that I made several mistakes in the near the end of the game. If I was gonna do this, I think I would cut the time in. Again, I would cut the time in around 5 years or so. So I think it's possible with the strategy that I used to conquer the whole world in even faster by 5 years. If I was gonna use the Kyoto exploit, then, well, I don't know. It would be ridiculous. Ridiculously fast. So, as you can see, I've transferred the occupation from the forts to Aishi. I haven't checked their finances yet, because the more loans they have, the more debt they have, the more interest they'll pay. So the more interest they pay, the faster this will go. I'm already, I think, preparing to kill some more rebels, and I'm attempting to grab Tech 5, Admin Tech 5 too. That's a big priority. So, any questions? Okay, I leave 5 minutes and he's besieging the forts he built 10 minutes ago. What happened? Oh, no patience. What happened is that I declared war on Korea. So I built a fort in Korean lands. The day before the forts were finished, I declared war to Korea. Since I had positioned at least one regiment in every single one of the provinces where I was building the forts, I've managed to capture the vast majority of them after 30 days, around 30 days after the completion. So it was very effective. It trashed my stability and increased my liberty, the war exhaustion by a lot, but it is what it is. It's worth it, in my opinion. So I'm not boosting the stability, at least I don't think so, until I get rid of the overextension, and that's gonna take a while. Gonna take what's needed is for Aishi to get to minus 1400 liberty desire. So every 2 ducats will give them around every 2 ducats will give them a loan. I need them to have shit ton of them for me to be able to repay the said loans and therefore reduce their liberty desire to minus 1400. So we need to give, they need to have like 280, 300 loans. I'm still trying to keep the economy as in a good shape because I mean, if I play well, economically speaking, or I will have more money later on, and you'll realize why soon enough. So their capital has fallen. That's another nice fort for them to pay. Was very lucky with the air there, with -2, with +2 siege. Really good. It's a must to have at the very least one siege. If I didn't grab a dude with this at least one siege peep, I would restart. It's extremely important. Okay, sorry, I'm bumping the microphone. And the Backstorm just subscribed. Thanks, the Backstorm. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for the warm welcome, the Backstorm. I'm glad to be back. And like I said, I was very busy with this world conquest, and well, I didn't have time. I couldn't stream it, and my mind was totally focused on this, and you know, I had to finish this before I streamed again. So, what am I forgetting to say? I don't think I'm forgetting anything, or am I? No, basically, I'm just... Oh, it's about bankruptcy. We need to... I said the more they owned, the better, but we must be careful or else they'll go bankrupt and this will be all for nothing. Captain Tainer just subscribed. Thanks for the support. Hello, Rose. Welcome. I thought for sure you're taking over the world in the real life. Welcome back. Thank you. Nice to see you here too. So around 200 ducats is a safe. It's safe. 200, 220. So I'm waiting for that. When they have a depth of 200, 220, give or take, I'm gonna repay their loans. I didn't take their island. So the AI is landing some troops, so need time to fix it. I think. Like I said, there were several interactions, so... Yep. I need to kill those rebels. More rebels coming this way. And you, most of you know how much I love rebels, so that's something funny because I tried at the same time that I tried to devise a strategy to conquer the world very, very fast. I also, one of the requirements was to avoid rebels like the plague, so which made it harder, you know. How can I come up with a way to not only beat the time? So I need to be fast. I need to take a shit ton of overextension. Overextension gives a shit ton of unrest. Unrest means in a country, a gigantic country, means a gigantic amount of rebels. So I found a solution to do that. Hello, Fruit Strike. It's good to see you here too. Thank you. All right. I was reading the chat, so I'm just waiting for them to accrue enough debts. They're getting there, as you can see. They have minus 1200 Liberty Desire already. In less than 5 years, they're ready to become a loyal vassal for the rest of the game, if that's what I wanted to do. I sound like a broken record, but this went through so many interactions. You know, I hope you know what I mean. And some didn't leave some even in my mind that never were actually never implemented. I thought of ways to. I mean, I strategized with lots and lots and lots of stuff. The reason why I'm mentioning it's because you manage, if you have a few vassals, say 5 vassals with minus 2000 Liberty Desire, you can basically give them everything and take it back later whenever you wanna. You feel you're ready to take that land. Imagine Ming with the current rules where devastation completely screws up your mandate. So you could start as Ming, grab say 5 very small vassals, give them the forts like I did here, then go conquer everyone and their mothers and give the land to the vassals. When there's no devastation, you take it back, core it, and keep going. We can do an extremely fast world conquest that way as Ming. Not as fast as this one, as not as fast as what I did here, but it can be done. At least until they fix these, which probably is gonna be fixed soonish, I would say. But I don't know. I have no idea. Just speculation. What usually exploits, or what's considered an exploit, as a very big priority on the to fix list. So I don't know. You guys have like 1 week to play with these, probably at least 1 week. Why does Aishi have minus 24 ducats a month? Asks Petrovars. Because I gave them all the forts from Korea for them to pay for. I built a shit ton of forts in Korea as a way to reduce the liberty desire from Aishi. So, as you could see, that problem is fixed. Aishi is now loyal. Time to give them the provinces. I still can't give those. I still cannot give those two back because, well, they're occupied by rebels. But that's gonna be fixed soon. 5 years have passed, so my truce with Sarig Yogir and Karadel should be ending. Or should have probably already ended. So 4044, yeah, already ended. So I'm ready to go beat up both the Oirats and Shagatai. The reason why I want to do that, it's because, well, they're pretty big, and I'm gonna need the monarch points. They also can see Aishi, which is another very important part of this strategy, because countries that cannot see our capital, even if we can see them, but they cannot see us, they can have minus 1000, they can have like 1000 aggressive expansion that they won't join a coalition. They will always have the unknown attitude. So since I'm gonna do lots and lots and lots of bad stuff to... Okay, looks like I didn't cancel Karadal. Yeah, I did, so why don't I have... Alright, I know, because they're a tributary from the Oirat. So I went for Sarig, but like I was saying, I'm gonna do lots of bad stuff to the Muslims in India and in the trade company regions like Indochina and the Philippines and so on, the Moluccas and so on. And if the Oirats and Chagatai are tributary, they won't grab any aggressive expansion, so they won't join coalitions. So that's why I'm doing these. Those are the reasons. And since I have time, because I'm waiting for admin tech 5 before I switch to Aishi, I figured I could do these two. I mean, I'm waiting for a very extremely important tag, but while I'm waiting, I should be doing something to make Aishi stronger further down the road, and that's why I'm doing it. Okay, time to read the chat. Hello, Puck Bell. Welcome. lots of bad stuff. Party time, says Insane Toast. Are you gonna try to get the emperorship? Nope, that's poison. That's literally poison in this patch. So yeah, just conquering the Oirat to make them a tributary. And the same thing with regard to Chagatai. We can do this because the price for being a tributary is 80% war score. Even if there's not a co-belligerence, we can do that. We can make them a tributary after achieving 80% war score. So I really despise rebels, so I don't want the unrest. Unrest, that much unrest translates to rebels, so like I said, I despise them. Don't want to start ranting, but the events made these way harder. I mean, it's not harder, more like tedious. The overextension events, especially the the zombie sentiment event. Way more tedious than it has to be. Didn't change the big picture. It just gave me like 30 or 40% more work than, you know, made this into. I wouldn't say it's short, but I mean, if what I like to do is not to fight rebels or to worry with rebels, and if I have extremely unfair events bombarding me every single day almost if I click them. Right, let me read the chat again. Okay, not many messages. So, I guess we could fast forward this just a bit. Okay, at the same time, like I said, I don't want to, at the same time I want to fast forward this, but at the same time I don't want it. Because what I did, it was a really, I mean, for me it was very difficult to do, so. Like I said, it's not the first time that I'm accused of cheating, so. By people that don't understand what I do, so I would rather not cut this. Because it makes it harder for those persons to accuse me of something that I didn't do. So I took lots of chances here. I'm very careful with my regiments because I don't like to lose regiments. Don't ask me why, it's just the way that I play. I don't like to lose the regiments. And sometimes I'm very conservative and I use pretty big stacks to prevent said losses, but over here I had to risk it. There's whenever possible I went for the carpet sieging as fast as I could. Even sometimes when I was not seeing their troops. There we go. I saw the stack from Chagatai there. The stack from the Irad left me made it easier for me because they went for my fort. If someone accuses you of cheating, they are obviously jealous and also have never watched your streams. Yeah, most likely. At least never watch my streams. I don't know if they're jealous. Hello, Tip. Welcome. We were hating the absence of Twitch, but we can leave this world conquest obsession behind us forever. Love your achievement, Marco. Thanks, Tip. I mean, you know, the last time that I did a speedrun was like 8 months ago or so. During those 8 months or so, I don't remember exactly how much time was it, but around 8 months, I played lots and lots of campaigns here. So you guys don't really have much to complain. Apart from 1.5 months that I haven't streamed, but I apologize for that, but it was because I was doing this. So if I do this once a year, it's not bad. Hello Vogel, welcome. You're always very open about what mechanics you abuse, so it's silly to accuse you of cheating. Yeah, it's just... I doubt someone will accuse me of cheating at this point, but it already happened in the past, so... because it happened in the past, and I don't... I mean... from that point on, I always recorded everything so that I could prove that I didn't do anything. I have nothing to prove, but it's just like I'm playing it. Why not record it if I have the space to record it? You know, the hard drive space, so it doesn't bother me. So we could this is going like 50% faster than if I was playing it. Or is it? Okay. I think this is incremental. I never used this feature. I don't recall. If I used it, I don't recall. Oh, this is okay. I guess this is better. Let's do this at twice the speed. If you just show you didn't save scum your leaders, it should be enough, I guess. I mean, I did add as a 2 admin 5 or 6 and a 0 or something. So with -5 morale of armies at some point during this campaign. So if what can I say? There is no direct or quick way to increase army tradition, right? Or is there? Yes, there is. If you take forts in quick succession, it's because taking forts increases the army tradition. If you take lots of forts in a quick succession, like I did in Korea, you go really quick to from 0 to 60, 70 and 100 army tradition. Of course, that's gonna be lost because the moment I attack switch to IC, I'm gonna lose the army tradition. But right now I'm enjoying a bit of army tradition thanks to those forts. Probably my army tradition is now on the 50 or 60 region, something along those lines. Well, trying to make these stubborn guys turn them into a tributary. Almost there for the Oirat. With regard to the leaders, it's not, the leaders as a horde, the rulers. I mean, it's important. They're good. It's better to have a 666 ruler than a 0001. But unless we're talking at the very beginning of the game, the first, I would say, first 15 years or so, or the very last part of the game, at the very end, where we still need a shit ton of admin for truce breaks and we barely have stuff to raise, that's where the having good rulers shine. I was very lucky with my ruler here at the beginning and very unlucky with my ruler at the end, which delayed me because I also made mistakes. Pretty big one near the end of the game, but I was like, oh, screw it, I'm not gonna redo this again because I made that mistake. Three restarts was enough for me. That's why I said I could improve this by like 5 years if I with what I learned with this last iteration. Should your title not be World Conquest Speedrun 1538? Yes, it should. Thanks, Ib. Big mistake, still less than 100 years. I feel so... Come on, don't say that. Okay, I'm gonna grab a beer really quickly. I'll be right back. I'll leave you guys with the recording. Right, I'm back. Sorry to keep you waiting. I mean, I'm not... for the lack of commentary in UK English. So we just grabbed ourselves a few tributaries. Very important, like I said before, because they'll give us more monarch points, and it's gonna be 2 less dudes for the coalition. Right, the time to become Aishi is fast approaching. Trying to save some money there. While I was doing this, I found an infinite money exploit, sort of. And I didn't use it for the majority of the campaign, but it did give me pretty nice starts. So we're gonna see that in action pretty soon. And that's why I have those tributaries there. Those 3 small dudes that I released well within my territory, because that keeps them safe. No one will attack them. I had a setback here. Janzu declared on Korea before I made them a tributary, which obviously sucks big time. Because Korea is at war, I won't be able to make them a tributary. Right, I'm rearranging the troops here because of the probably the sublime limit and combat width, or both. Like I said, I'm waiting for Tech 5. After I have Admin Tech 5, I'm gonna become Aishi. Until then, we have to wait. Hello, Absolute Zero Smoke. Welcome. Allied Talk is saying Alt F4 to avoid bad events and stuff. That's not a good thing, or is it? The game will save if you press Alt F4. As far as I know. I just wish this game behaved like Hearts of Iron 4. And that wouldn't be a problem. Because the moment you Alt tab from the game or something, the game automatically saves, so no saves come there. So at least I wouldn't be asked, did your saves come or something? But yeah, if other people like it, so to each his own, I guess. I don't like it, but I did do it a few times over the last 2 years, like 5 times or so, because of bugs, and really big bugs and misclicks, really big ones, like fighting a war for 3 hours, real life, and then press the white and then white piece the war leader just by mistake. Stuff like that. Anyway, I've just took a shit ton of loans. Because I'm gonna give this money to the tributaries inside my territory, the dudes that I released. Over here, since I'm gonna go bankrupt next month, I'm taking advantage of the monarch points to try to spawn or try to speed up the progress of the institution, the Renaissance. So I'm giving the provinces to Aishi now. Why not take advantage of the debasing for extra cash? So by giving this to Aishi, they gain a core on the provinces. If they're territorial cores, they'll be territorial cores for Aishi. If they're full cores, they will of course be full cores for Aishi too. Like I said, I thought of these thanks to this part. This was part of the strategy for the Kyoto exploit, thanks to barbecue for the win, and I adapted it for this run. Right, now it's time to take the provinces back from them. I did this on purpose, you know. I positioned China in the right part of the screen so that we could see could see it. I'm a video editor, or at least I was, and a camera operator, so kind of know about framing and how to make it more interesting for the people that are watching, at least with regard to framing. So you can see the effect of what I'm doing. Usually I'm zoomed in, you know, but for this I guess it would be more interesting if I was zoomed out. Hello, Money's Worth, welcome. Hello, I'm doing fine, thank you. And how are you today? Been a while. I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad to see you here today. Okay, there we go. Now we have a gigantic amount of overextension, like almost 1200 overextension. Overextension decreases the diplomatic reputation, which makes all vassals, all subjects become annoyed with us. So to keep them loyal, I just gave them gifts. I had to do this to decrease their liberty desire in order for them to remain loyal, so that when the time came to annex Ming, I could inherit them all.
I am so happy I could just cry tears of joy. Or resubscribe. Take your pick, winking face.
You're... You always make me laugh. Thanks for the chuckle and for the support, money's worth. You, thank you. Thanks a lot. As you can see there, Mongyang, that's on purpose. I didn't buy down their Liberty Desire because I don't want them as a tributary. They'll be one of the first victims after I become Aishi. I'm carving a path towards India. They're on my way, in my way. So I don't want them as tributaries. Everyone else, sure. For the most part. There we go. So I grabbed myself an auto clicker so that I could bestow gifts to Shun. I mean, every time I press that button, it's 10 ducats that I'm giving them. To be able to give them 7,000 ducats, it would take forever and 1 day to click it manually. I grabbed an auto clicker and, well, I'm automatically clicking that button to give them money as fast as I can. The reason why I'm doing this is because I'm gonna cancel them as a tributary. They'll have all this money, they'll be inside my borders, protected from the other AIs. When I become Aishi, I won't have a truce with them, so I can go attack them and grab up to 10,000 ducats in money from them, which is kind of nice to speed up things at the beginning. This is the money exploit that I was talking about. There's a downside to these, which is devastation. Every time you go bankrupt, it adds plus 10% devastation. So, but after you reach 100 devastation, well, it cannot hurt you more than it already did. And every time, as Ming, every time you go bankrupt, that's like around 3,000 ducats. So you'll have an income of 3,000 ducats per month. I would say it's worth it, but I had to keep things in perspective. Which, I mean, this is just a boost early on, and but if you have time, if you're not going for a record, I guess you could do this for 10 months or so or more, then pick up the money later on. But I decided against it, so I went bankrupt like 3 or 4 times or so, and that was enough, I guess. I had time to give money to other tributary at the end of the month, because we've reached the maximum amount of loans. We'll become bankrupt. Did he get 1 million loans? Asks Great the Mister. Yeah, around that. So we became bankrupt. We take maximum loans again. We give the money back. We give the money to the tributaries. That was a mistake. I wanted to select money, not Diplo. Don't know what I was thinking, but I corrected it. I doubt I'm gonna actually. This won't be. It's February. what I did there, it's meaningless because I want... This cannot last for 12 months, for another 10 months, let alone 12. We need to become Aishi before the rebels eat us alive. And that's gonna happen 10 months from now. I was extremely lucky with the general. I rolled a general, I grabbed a 3 siege general. Believe me, I didn't save scum it simply happened. But I would restart the campaign if I didn't grab a dude with at least 1 siege. But, well, I was lucky. I grabbed a dude with 3 siege and another one with 2, which was very nice. It's very important because we really need to take this capital quickly. If we don't take the capital quickly, the rebels will eat us alive. So, bankrupt and with shit ton of rebels everywhere, it's game over. With the with the objectives of this campaign in mind, it would be game over. So time to get rid of this money again, and if I wanted, I could take more loans again next month, do it all over and over and over again. The downside to this, like I said before, is that it increases the devastation, and devastation in turn reduces the goods produced, which affects production and affects trade income. So this has some downsides, pretty severe ones actually. After you reach 100% devastation, it's all profit. But I decided to be conservative, and I think the bankruptcy stop here. Time to read the chat again. So if you guys have any questions for me, now it's the time. Remember to tag me so that I know that you're talking to me like this. Marco is only ever lucky off stream. Don't say that. I've been very lucky. For example, I remember in the campaign as Norway, the second attempt, everything was going my way. But it's pretty rare. Because if you say it like that, it looks like I've cheated, and I didn't. Okay, so I cancel the tributaries so that I won't have a truce with them when I become Aishi. So, because Aishi has a shit ton of had a shit ton of loans, it always ends up with 10-20 inflation, which is extremely bad for the economy. With that in mind, we have to wait to become Aishi. We have to wait until the beginning of the next month, which I already did, because I annexed them in June. And then this clears the inflation. But unfortunately for me, I had a pretty nasty surprise there. +8 corruption from Aishi, which I was not expecting. But to help me out, I ended up with a 645 or 654, which was extremely lucky. How fast could you world conquest with no exploits at all? I don't know. Okay, here we are talking about exploits. I didn't want to talk about exploits, you know, because, well, I've conquered the world by 1546 with the Kyoto exploit. You know, unlimited manpower, unlimited development if I wanted. I could stay there the whole year just running the game and developing my initial provinces. We have like 10,000 development before I actually started playing the game. So I would say that's a pretty huge exploit. In this campaign, I didn't use the unlimited monarch points exploit. I used other stuff that helped me, but by comparison with that, they're all pathetic, and I did better by 8 years. So, you know, this reminds me of stuff that I don't want to don't want to remember, like when I was the first one that conquered the world as Luxembourg and Tanutuva when Hearts of Iron 4 came out, like 15 days after. I received a shit ton of heat because I discovered a manpower exploit to conquer the world as Luxembourg. Then, yeah, you didn't. That was you only managed to do it because you had the manpower exploit. If you use that, why didn't you use the console, and so on and so forth. 15 days later, I conquered the whole world without using the manpower exploit. And guess what? No one gives a shit. But, you know, I'm gonna shut up. He uses just features in someone just subscribed. PR lol. Thank you. Thanks for the support. I hope I remembered. PR lol, yeah, public relations lol. Alright, I think that's it. 654. I don't understand the trick. How did Aishi get all the Ming cores upon release? Because I gave them, the first thing that I did, okay, let's 224. You see, right now I'm giving my provinces to Aishi. By doing this, Aishi gains a full core. So then I grab the one, but by doing this, Aishi grabs a core, but I lose my core as Ming. Ming loses the core. Every time we give away a province, we lose the core. Unless it's from our primary culture group and we lose it in a war. Or to rebels. So there we go. Aishi grabs cores in all of China. Then I take the provinces back from them. So let's fast forward. I'm taking the provinces back from them. I can do this because I buy down their liberty desire to minus 1400. So they did not end up disloyal because of what I'm doing. Then I declare war, annex them, release, play as. Alright, my first move after becoming a country, basically after turning Ming into a horde, basically that's what I did in less than 10 years with Tech 5, admin Tech 5. The first thing that I did was to declare war. There was no time to wait for the truce to end, simply no time. I was actually lucky with the general too, pretty lucky start. I have like 2 siege or something. This is the general from the estates, from Raising Host. And someone made a donation. Inside Toast donated $10. War taxes raised, nothing to see here. Thanks, Inside Toast, for the support. Yeah, you remembered. Congrats, says PR lol. Thank you. Where do you... Where... Like, thanks again, Inside Toast, for the support. And PR lol. Okay, alright, I'm fucked up with, sorry, I screwed up with, OBS. We didn't see on screen the donation. I'm gonna, well, I can't do nothing, can't do anything now, but I'm gonna fix the issue so that it doesn't happen again. Sorry about that. Because I never use the VLCs. So VLC as at priority over the alerts. I'm sorry about that. It's fixed now. So every follow and donations and will be viewable from this point on. Sorry about that. Alright, so I just defeated Ming. So they're dead and we've inherited all their tributaries. Now I'm struggling because of the rebels. I have a shit ton of exhaustion still. Not enough points to clear it, so difficult times here. Especially because I'm about to go to war again. Okay, I'm looking for... I want to release some one province miners. There's a reason for these. The main one... I mean, there are several reasons. I'm not gonna have vassals for... in the usual sense that we use them, you know, for coring. And someone just made a donation. I hope this time around we can see it. There we go. Tip donated 10 bucks. Let's check if it's fixed. It is. Thanks, Tip. Hello, Pudding Keep. Welcome. Pudding Keep is asking, "Oh, did I conquer China so fast?" You can check it. I started as Ming. Basically, I started as Ming, and then gave my provinces to Aishi, grabbed them back, and then next Aishi released and played as. That's how it was done. But if you want to see the details, if you want to know more details, watch the VOD, I guess, because I explained it in detail. But that's the in a nutshell, that's what I did. So I took a mission here to improve the prestige. That's 100 at admin. Then there's another mission to improve the prestige even further. That's another 100 admin. And I went from negative prestige to plus 50 really quickly. And that was great because it allowed me to, well, jumpstart my game with 200 admin. Besides that, it allowed me to increase the government to an empire level, which increased the number of states that I could have. Among, especially, that was the biggest improvement. And of course, increase the force limits and so on. like I was saying, I want some vassals, simply because that's one objective, an age objective. If we have 5 vassals, we'll fulfill the third age objective, which will allow me to fire the golden age. On top of that, this early, having like 5 vassals, it's like at least 15 regiments. They're useful to unsiege stuff, basically. That's the maximum extent of their usefulness, because they're so retarded. But if you put them in defensive stance, if the other AIs go siege our stuff, the vassals will do their best to try to take it back. So that's another 15 regiments on your side, on our side, and of course they increase the force limits too, especially if they're how is it called, marches. I mean, they'll be more useful if they're marches. However, because they'll have more morale, more discipline if we interact with them, use subject interaction to send officers. I think that's the one. Anyway, but I fucked up here with designing this guy, making this guy a march too early, and I really screwed up there. I shouldn't have done it. That was a mistake. That's gonna cost me a stability hit later down the road. So I released these guys on the border. It's just free development. Then I warn Cam, and I warn every single one of the countries that can actually attack them, so that when the truce is up, I will make them a vassal. If I release them as a vassal, I would have to give them more provinces, and I didn't want to do that, so I just selected the shittiest provinces possible to have these vassals. Besides, they're also good to pay for the forts, and with time they'll have minus 1500 Liberty Desire, just like the other dude, and can be used for other stuff if we really want it. Even though I at this point I didn't have in mind to use them for that, but we never know. As something, a fallback plan for the late game, in like if I'm in an emergency where I don't have points, I could give them some provinces, then take them back and raise them, and really, and you know. So that's what I had in mind when I did this. So let's see the chat again. Marco being tricky as always. What do you mean absolute zero smoke? Team as hello Don, welcome. Nice to see you here today. How is your personal life after this run? Is your cat still alive? Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's in tatters, but it's because it wouldn't be accurate, but I've spent a shit ton of time doing this. Way too much time. I'm gonna put everything in order during this week. Next week I have some stuff that I need to do, and you can expect another stream during probably next Saturday, because I'm gonna take the time to put everything in order. Next week I'll be back for more streams, like I usually did, or I usually do. So as you can see, I've just declared war on these dudes to grab the money, and I really need it because I already have some loans. It wouldn't be the end of the world, you know. This is just, again, I can already see it. Some people say, hey, you use exploits, you use tributaries to bank some money, and because of that money, that's why he managed to do it, which would be nonsense. It's just something that gives me a little edge, and in my opinion, this is not cheating, because if it's not cheating, in my book at least, it would be stupid not to do it, because it gives me a little edge. You know, I'm trying to conquer the world in 100 years or less. Try to beat something that I did using an extremely strong exploit, the Kyoto exploit. So it was like I said at the beginning, when I thought of this, how the hell am I going to do this? How the hell am I going to beat what I did with the Kyoto exploit? And I thought, well, I have to find a way to turn Ming into a horde, and then I will have like almost 20 years head start by comparison with my Kyoto exploit run, and I have to make them count. I have to conquer a very strong economical base, power base, during those 15 years or 16 years or almost 20, and to try to catch up to a 200 force limit and that I had when I started conquering the world back in 1.21 with the Kyoto exploit. Thanks, Bast is saying, using game features in creative ways doesn't make your achievement any less impressive. Thank you. I'm glad you understand. So Marco, when is Paradox gonna hire you as a quality assurance? I don't know. Probably never. I do like this game, so it would be a pleasure to go work every day. Do you have to raise war taxes just so we don't talk about exploits? What? Do I have to? Oh no. I mean, if you want to do it, that's fine, but you don't have to, and you know, so, but it's not required at all. So I've just declared war on Mongyang because I've devised, economically speaking, like I said, I have very little time to catch up to the Kyoto exploit. I had to make the time count, because 16 years from now, in the Kyoto exploit run, I would have 200 force limit, and I would be absolutely unstoppable. I was absolutely unstoppable, and I kept growing very fast, because of the unlimited monarch points and a very strong economy. So I had like 16 years to... I mean, I couldn't waste a single day, so I had to conquer as fast as I could and target the richest lands, and go for the richest lands. And the richest lands in this game are in India and in my opinion in China, India, and the Moluccas and Indochina, Philippines. And that's what I did. While I was conquering India, I wouldn't have to worry with coalitions, because, well, everyone else was a tributary, everyone else that could see me. So I went for India, again, as fast as possible. After I was done with India, then I went to Indochina and Borneo and so on. You might be wondering, why did I select humanist ideas as my first idea group, which would be nonsense. I'm not actually gonna select it. It's just selected as a first idea group because I have no points right now, and there's an event associated with the humanist idea groups, which is the Free Thinkers, an event that reduces the cost of ideas by 10%. So I was hopefully I could grab that event. Hello, Oldune. Maybe if they hired you, you could make Hearts of Iron 4 better. I would make, at least from my perspective, I would make Hearts of Iron 4 better and EU4 better. But I have my opinions, and I would just be, I would definitely make it better, at least, or try to. I'm very stubborn, and when I believe in something, I don't give up easily, and that's why we see this stuff. It's because even if I don't make it at the first try, I don't give up until I grab what I want, and that can be a virtue, and also can be problematic, but for the most part, well, it allows me to do this sort of stuff, and I would definitely, with the amount of time that I put into this game, I've seen several times that I could have made a difference, at least from my perspective, but I'm not, it's just my opinion. Especially with regard with AI. The AI would not be doing some stuff that it does right now. If I had some saying, it would be way, it would be better. Thanks for the confidence. If you work at Paradox, you have to be able to accept decisions you don't like. Yeah, says, of course. I don't know where this work in Paradox came from, but of course I know how to work in a team. What I'm trying to say is that I know this game, you know, I know it very well, at least in my opinion, and I have ideas. I could share my ideas and try to share them, and maybe they would be useful. I don't know. Not, you know, I know pretty well with what is the work of a team, you know, and I just feel that I know that in many times, many situations that I've seen throughout the years, and I've been playing this game for a long time now, maybe I could have made a difference, but I don't know. How long is the entire video you have? I don't know, for 5 hours, but this is going at twice the speed. What do you dislike about the current AI, generally speaking? The AI it still does way too much stuff that's really dumb, and some of it's really simple. I mean, I'm not saying it's simple to fix, but many of those things are actually easy to fix. I'm not saying all of them are easy to fix. I will say that some of them are easy, because the AI is going back and forth with the settings. Now you increase the local autonomy, now you decrease it, now you pay for these, now you don't pay for these. You know, there's if the AI can be tweaked to in one patch do one thing, in another patch do another. Maybe if it was doing the right thing at the right time, I mean, it's little things that appear very little, but if you fix lots of little things, in the end, you'll have a pretty good, a pretty big improvements. It would be like, why the hell is the AI doing this? Why can't it do this or that or that? And then we would talk, and I mean, I'm not a programmer, but you know, I could spot all the deficiencies and try to improve it. Like Vobel is saying that programming AI is pretty complicated. Have a useful AI run simultaneously for 200 countries or something could be extremely taxing for a PC. Yeah, I know. But what I'm trying to say again is that there were a lot. I've been playing this for a long time, and I've spotted all the meta changes from the AI. In like now, like I said, in one patch it does increase the local autonomy. In the other one,
back, Marco.
Thanks, Aljun, for the kind words and the support. Thanks for the cheer. So what I'm trying to say is that I can easily spot that stuff, and if I spot it, then I guess if I spot it, it's easier to get it fixed. Like, okay, the AI shouldn't use this because this is not profitable. Or the AI should use this because this is very profitable. The AI should not... why did the AI increase the local autonomy back then and now it's decreasing it, or vice versa? And so that kind of stuff. And then there's the more complicated, which has to do with strategic grand strategies. But if we manage to fix all those small things, make the AI increase the local autonomy, for example, at the right time, and but it has improved. That was just an example, you know. I've spotted stuff like that over the patches, but no one gives a shit about what I say, so I have no saying. Anyway, let's continue. But Chain Gain said he couldn't even solve the stupid colonizing thing with whole armies unnecessary abroad. Yep, maybe I don't know. I did learn. This is really silly what I'm about to say, and probably I shouldn't say it. I'm very determined when I want something. Even if I have to learn to program in 50 days, I usually, I mean, it's just really stupid because I have, but I once needed to learn how to program some stuff, and I learned it in 15 days. I'm not saying I will be able to do it because it's very complicated. I understand it, but that's the determination that I have. So I'm very determined. Don't give up easily. That's what I'm saying. If something is needed to achieve an objective, I'll do it. I'll figure out a way. Anyway, let's continue. So, this war with Mongyang is one. I'm not focused on this. By the way, I've during this campaign I paused like probably over 1,000 times. So there's lots of cuts. Like I said before, I sometimes played like 5 minutes, then stopped, go clear my head, go do something else to figure out how should I proceed. Then came back, so there's lots and lots of cuts. Alright, Mongyang is out of the way. Next target, it's probably no, it's 100% sure it's these guys, Bengal. Okay, let's see the shot. exactly, that's exactly what I did, Aldion. I started as Ming and gave my made Aishi a vassal, gave them my provinces in order for them to grab cores, full cores. Then I took them back, annexed Aishi, and released and played as. For that to be possible, I needed to reduce the liberty desire of Aishi by 1400 points. I did it by giving them a shit ton of forts for them to pay for when they were down to only 5 developments. So in a nutshell, that's what I did, and in 5 years or so, I was ready to tax switch if that's what I wanted to do. But first I waited for Tech 5, I'm sorry. Alright, the Mongyang is gone. If you remember, during the last stream, where I played... Okay, I'm gonna redo the forts. The forts are not in the good position. I could afford them thanks to the money that I took from the tributaries. So if I didn't add that money, I would not have forts. So I guess it was just like a quality of life thingy, which let me deal better or avoid the whack-a-mole, because the forts will stop the AI for a little bit and reduces the whack-a-mole. So I kind of used that money to bank for the forts. But like I was saying, and I forgot what I was gonna say. Lovely. See, this is why I don't stream when I'm doing this sort of stuff usually. How long is this in real time, Marco? Is it close to 500 hours, or is that too much? Asks Steve. Yeah, probably with the missed attempts, with the failed attempts. Let me see. Give me a moment. I'll give you an estimate. Yeah, around 360 hours went into this strategy. Around 400 actually. But this run does not have 400 hours. No, nowhere near it. Do you have a business email available? I can't find it in your info. No, I don't have it, Budget Monk. Not yet. Never needed it. You can send me a message here on Twitch, like a whisper. I'll reply to it. Where did 10k gold come from? It was from a tributaries. Marco is from Lisboa, not Porto, and Santos. $500 hours is like 21 full days playing. I didn't. So like 5 days a week, 12 hours a day. Sometimes I did this, and sometimes I even played for 14 hours when I didn't add work. So on average, during the last 6 weeks, I probably played these around 12 hours per day. So if I had the life to play only 4 hours, and the patience to play these slowly, even slower, I would obviously do better. I was not as tired. But I don't sleep much, so I play this for 12 hours and sleep like 4 hours or something. then do the rest of the stuff that needs to be done. For example, last Saturday, I went to work Sunday for 15 hours. You know how much I slept? 0 hours. So I woke up Saturday at around 12, at around midday, and played the whole freaking day and the whole freaking night. At 7 a.m. I was getting out of the bath to go work until 10 p.m. So it's crazy. But then I slept a shit ton of time Monday. For my standards, was a shit ton of time. Don't do this at home. And then, you know, I finished these. I just finished these. Basically, I've that post on Reddit and on the Paradox forum was like minutes after I finished the World Conquest, and I had spent the whole night awake again, and today I slept like 2 hours or something. Anyway, so this is basically blobbing as fast as I can. I still don't have artillery. Whenever possible, I used the double piece. I did double pieces. It helped a lot. Keep the speed of the conquests. If you do the math, it's really the world starts with around 1400 with 14,000 development. And during these early stages, I couldn't basically conquer anything besides what Ming starts with. So this means that at some point I would have to conquer after raising around after raising at least 250 overextension, 250 development per year. Under certain many times I cored 700, 600, 750 overextension in one go. To do that and not have a shit ton of rebels, we need to core extremely fast as Aishi or Manchu. The faster that we can core without culture shifting is 16 months. I grabbed 700 overextension, which is like over 1000 development before raising. I would explode with rebels. So all of this to say that the speed of coring from Manchu was not enough. So I had to devise a way after this opening to conquer stuff as fast as possible. And the way that I did it was to continuously culture shift to the cultures that I was conquering. So that was what I had in mind, and that's what I did at the first opportunity that I had. It takes a little bit of time to set up, but there are some little tricks, or some I wouldn't say tricks is probably not the good because it's not exploitive or anything. It's just at least, I mean, it's a little trick that we could use to culture shift faster, and I'll show it when the time comes. So over here I'm giving the forts to the vassals so that they pay for them, and then I can decrease the liberty desire. At this point it's still important because, well, it saves money if that's what I want, or I thought I should do it. Let's see the chat again. Only 12k development, Marco. If you conquer quick, it's cheaper, I guess. It's 12k. I ended up with almost 12k or 12k because that's after raising, and that's because I conquered the world extremely quickly and didn't give much time for the AIs to press the development button. Hello, King Cove. Many ping you is talking, saying, Marco, I just finished sewing your world conquest with Manchu, and once again I was impressed with your quality. Regards, King Cove, Portuguese. I won't go. I don't think so. Fruit Strike, thanks for caring. Fruit Strike is worried in my health. Customers were happy with you, Marco. Yeah, they didn't notice. I drank a lot of coffee. They didn't notice anything. How does double piece work? I'll explain it in a moment. Thanks, Budge Monk. I'll see it. I'll read it. Hello, Warp Kitty. Welcome. All right. So let's talk a bit about this. So as you can see, what the hell am I doing here? I didn't check the culture. Maybe one of those provinces belongs to the. Okay, the way that I play is I usually go for the easiest things, you know, try to spot the easiest preys. Try to, if I have to attack someone and that it has to be that guy, I usually try to do it with the, how can I say it in English, with the selecting the path of less with less opposition, you know. And that's, it's no different here. I tried to do that, so I probably took advantage of a guarantee or something, I'm not sure, so that I could try to duck the strong allies from Bengal. And I'm probably gonna do, but no, I declared on them directly, so no, again, scrap that. Like I said, plenty of iterations. And maybe their allies didn't honor the call to arms or something. They usually have, yeah, they looks like their allies were in trouble. They usually ally the Timurids and Delhi and some strong dudes. I guess I was lucky here or something. But usually that's what I do. So if I had some small country near their border that they're guaranteed, I would do that. Attack the dudes that they've guaranteed and do a double piece. Okay, over here, and I have to bite the bullet and core with 36 months because there's no way I could culture shift, not yet. But the thing is, if we have one province of the culture that we want to culture shift to right before piecing out, So we attack a dude at the border that has the say culture A. We have a province with the culture A, with the A culture, and said province has like 3 developments. So the minimum that we need to culture shift or to accept the culture is 20 development. So obviously that's not enough. But if we make that province a state and then conquer right before we annex the remaining provinces of that state, even though they're not cored, that development will count towards the, you know, it's already a state, and voila, we can instantly shift to that culture and start coring it, thanks to that extra development that's not cored yet, but since we made it a state before annexing the provinces, it counts towards core development or state development. You know what I mean? So I used it a lot, which speed up things incredibly. It's not usual to see, or usually there's a country that owns a border province of a different culture, and we can take advantage of that. We just need to pay attention. And that's why this requires lots of patience, lots of time, lots of well, patience to look around the map, see how can we do this or that. So let's see the chat again. Less resistance. Yes, thanks, Tip. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you. Least resistance. The path of least resistance. Okay, thanks, and Signpost. You only have one state constantly, Marco asks Tip. Nope, at this point in time, I cannot afford it. I need to have plenty of states because I need the money and I need above all the force limits. But if I need to culture shift, I'll just kill the states. Culture shift, then enable them again. I kept doing that. Of course, that every time we unstate something, we lose the cores, the full cores. But who cares? As a horde, we end up having to give 50% of our, or more than 50% of our states anyway, and they'll all have 50% local autonomy. So I don't give a shit. The horde economy is very unfair. The states, the tribes are very unfair for any horde. So it's common to have to be forced to give almost all the states, almost all the provinces to the tribes, or they'll complain. So that's a 50% minimum local autonomy. Not sure what I'm waiting for here. Probably to get rid of the overextension. It looks like I'm gonna attack one of my tributaries. What a shitty air. There's no way I'm gonna grab that. If I do it, I'm gonna have to disinherit him, like on the double. Yeah, I thought so. Was not gonna pick it. We're getting to the end of this video. That's another half an hour. What do I want to talk about more? So the most important stuff So the opening moves, I've talked about the culture shifting. It's important to culture shift always before coring, because it reduces the coring time by 50%. So if you have as Manchu with all the ideas, we have coring time of 16 months. 50 with less 50%, that's 8 months. In 8 months, we can get rid of 1000 overextension if we want it. If we can do it, we have them available, and that no one will, no rebels will spawn. So that's the thingy. Looks like I've spotted a new target, or changed my mind, or whatever, or an alliance was cancelled, whatever. I was preparing to attack Assam, and things changed. And I went after Orissa for whatever reason that I can't recall, because I'm reading the chat and trying to, I'm not focused on these. So I'm not 100% focused, that's what I'm saying. So by culture shifting, before coring every single province, that's exactly what I did for the most part. I was able to take insanely high amounts of overextension. But we're not there yet. We still need to grab, have artillery, have more force limits. This is the early game, basically. So, very early game. But that's the principle. That's what I had in mind when I was doing this. I'm gonna give priority. My first idea group. Not the first, the second one. It's gonna be exploration ideas, at least for a while, so that I can go colonize a province in Australia. That's gonna be important for the late game. Not for now. It's really one of the things that I'm gonna do at the very end of the game. I'm gonna move my capital to Australia to be able to even later move it to North America. Don't wanna spoil it all, but it's a bit sometimes a bit. I mean, this has lots of variables, lots of stuff that I needed to do. That was one of them. I'm gonna give priority to farming the golden horde, but first things first, I need to conquer India, and I need to get rid of the, because I'm gonna generate thousands and thousands and thousands of aggressive expansion, you know? It's not just gonna be a number. So I'm gonna conquer India as fast as I can. I'm gonna take over the Southeast Asia trade as soon as I can. Then I'm gonna eradicate all the Muslims or Muslim countries, or grab truces with all of them, and eventually move my capital to Europe. It's not gonna take very long, with the objective to grab trade companies and extra force limits and more money, fix the economical situation. The first idea groups are going to be, first, it's gonna have to be administrative ideas, of course, then followed by humanist ideas. Then I use another, I would call it trick, but it's not really a trick. I think it's playing effectively to grab the third idea group before the 16th century. So at the turn of the century, I will have 3 idea groups completed. That had a huge consequence. I think in my 1.14 and 1.21 games, I don't know. It's the fastest that I ever had 3 idea groups completed was 1499. That's what we're gonna see. Let's see the chat again. Are you guys still awake? Yep, I started as Ming, El Cido. Started as Ming, then released, then gave my provinces to Aishi, grabbed them back, then annexed Aishi, released and played as. So basically, this is concrete stuff as fast as I can, and I tried. I'm using some mercenaries, but I never really had lack of manpower. At least after I grabbed artillery or very good generals with lots of siege. I didn't add I didn't lack manpower because I could always turn military points into manpower. Exactly, through the use of the professionalism thingy. These guys are still being wrecked. The Korea still being wrecked. It was wrecked by Jeonju. Right, I'm building a fleet because I'm thinking ahead. Once I'm done with India, I'm gonna need a fleet. Probably I'm gonna need a fleet. We never know when we're gonna need a fleet. I'm thinking ahead and building some boats, because when I need them, they'll be there for me. And you know, blockading helps take forts. But we can, if we didn't blockade, it would make things go slower. But you know, I'm gonna need a fleet for all sorts of reasons. Do you think you can beat this time? Yeah, I can. If I was gonna do this again, I would beat this by around 5 years. And I'm pretty sure someone will try to beat it. And especially after seeing what I did, I'm pointing in the right direction, in my opinion. But then, when I find the time, I'll beat it again, and so on. It's fun. Once in a while, do this. It's fun. You know, this is in Paradox forum. Someone was saying that war conquests are boring. Maybe, I mean, to each, everyone is entitled to their opinion, but this is far from boring. At least for me, this is very, very exciting. At some point, at some point, I was like, I remember I was breathing. At some point, I was breathing heavily with how can I say it? With excited with what was going on. It's really engaging. So once in a while, I like to do this. This is actually my preferred style of play, but this is so difficult to achieve, at least for me, that it's really demanding. So once in a while I like to do it, but this is really, really very demanding. We can't make mistakes. I'm not saying that I didn't make them. Of course I didn't make mistakes, but if you want to conquer the world in less than 100 years, you can't make many. Why bother to do it even quicker than these? Just let it go, Marco. Yeah, maybe. You know, back in 1.14 I said that I was going to do it for the last time. I kind of let it rest. I do it like once a year. I've done it like once a year since 1.14, so it's not... I have nothing, I've said it plenty of times, I have nothing to prove, but I like this kind of game. Kind of challenge. Yep, I agree, boss. But I didn't reply because I'm giving some attention now, but for other reasons. I didn't reply because it was, I think that does not deserve any reply. It's just someone wanting to pick a fight or plain stupid. I'm sorry to say it, but that's how I interpreted it. So, totally worth of being ignored, but I mentioned it for other reasons. So, what do I want to talk about further? Oops, I hit the microphone again. Let's see. So, I've talked about the culture shifting, which was a gigantic part of the strategy. The double peace thingy was also very important. Whenever I could, I attacked a one province minor with a strong ally. Another thing that I've learned, but that's for the late game. What else was important? I'm very tired today, so when I'm tired, I'm very slow. I grabbed exploration a couple of times during the campaign. One to get the colony going in Australia, another one and explore a bit with the seas. Another one later, I tried to store Diplo in culture conversions. I didn't fuck up, thankfully. It's easy to forget about him. Then I grabbed, because of that, I grabbed exploration for just a very briefly, again, to grab explorers and conquistadors to explore the world. Then I ditched it for diplomatic ideas again. And at the very last moment possible, like when I was seeing everything, I've grabbed really at the last moment, truly at the last moment, like 7, 8, 9 years before the end of the game, or even less than that, probably like 3 or 4. I grabbed it again for the few colonies that needed to actually to link to natives. I've like I said, I grabbed the colony in Papua New Guinea. That belongs to Oceania. So but it's not in a colonial region, so I can freely move the capital there. It works like it was an island. Like there are other islands across the world that can be used for that. And from there I moved the capital to North America. Then I made some vassals, some tributaries. Then used the adjacency mechanic. So I have like 2 countries adjacent to one another. They're out of colonial range. There's no way I can grab those provinces unless my capital is in North America. And because they're in North America, so I vassalize one or make him a tributary and attack the other, core the province or take the province. Then I attack my own vassal and take the other province. You know, problem solved. As long as there's two dudes adjacent to one another, that reduces the need for colonists. If you're unlucky, some dude will be out of reach. So this also requires luck. I was lucky. Which CB did you use? It's the Horde CB. I use the Horde CB always. And of course I did a shit ton of no CBs too. I had to. Actually, in the later stages, I probably did more no CBs than actually regular one. At one point, I remember that I used the no CB on Spain. That was very expensive in Diplo, that's for sure. But that's the only one that I had, so that's the one that I will use. That was a little mistake. Could have prevented it. That was another mistake, but it had small consequences because as a horde, if you're conquering like over 300 development per year, you won't lack points, especially with the golden age enabled, and especially if you have the return to the old ways event, which unfortunately for me, it only happened. I mean, if I had grabbed the return to the old ways right now, it would help me snowball way faster. But I was unlucky there and didn't grab it. When I finally grabbed that, it was in a situation where it didn't matter much, but I already had all the ideas, I already had everything, but basically it gave me it gave me margin for error. So that error with Castile or Spain, or whatever, Castile didn't have many consequences. That's what I'm trying to say, luckily for me. So stability hit. I was hit with a shit ton of stability hits. With the higher the overextension, the higher the likelihood of grabbing those events. So it's like if you have like 600 or 700 overextension, if you grab one overextension event and you click it, the next day or the next few days you'll have another one. That's almost 100% guaranteed. And I had plenty of stability hits and plenty of comments, unfortunately. I was... So, strategically, I always try to take the forts, if at all possible. But sometimes it's simply not possible, but I do try to take them. I also need to grab borders with as many dudes as possible. You see, Jampur still cannot see me. The moment I grab a border with them, they'll see me and they'll join a coalition. If if they're strong enough, combined with all the other dudes willing to join a coalition, they're strong enough to challenge me, they will. So at this point we need to be very careful with who we border. And at the right time, if it's the right time to border them. So, because I still have overextension probably, or I'm waiting for that stuff to core, probably to culture shift or something. Or just to let the armies get nearby, get closer so that I can strike them at once. Let's see the chat again. What about institutions? That's the trick that I was talking about. I'm glad you've. But if I spoil it all here, there won't be anything left to discover. besides seeing me putting the plan into practice, but I'm gonna say it anyway. So I use I use the institutions to my advantage. How can they be used to my advantage, you may ask? So as you know, taking technologies ahead of time gives a penalty. For each year ahead of time, it's 10%. It's a 10% increase. Looks like I didn't actually culture shift. Oh well, it's the early game still. From this point on, or as soon as possible, I'm gonna start culture shifting to reduce the coring time by 50%. But like I was saying, I use the institutions to my advantage. And how can I do that? It's pretty simple. When we're ahead of time in the technology, each year increases the cost by 10%. So at some point, the amount of points that you have in the pool are not maximum amounts, won't be enough to take a tech, you know? Won't be enough. You need like 1200 points, for example, and you can only store 1100 as an example. If you have a 50% tech penalty, that's 50% or more. What that translates to is it translates into the ability to take tech 5 years earlier than you would otherwise be able to. So what I'm saying is that if you embrace the institution at the right time, your monarch points pool will be maximized with the previous situation, you know, where you could store, say, 1500 because you have a 50% tech penalty. All of a sudden, you embrace the institution, it's instant, and your maximum points pool will be in 1000, which means that the technology costs now way less than it cost before, and you have way more points by comparison what you had before with proportionally, and lets you take the tech 5 years earlier. I don't know if I explained it very well, but I did my best. So embracing the institution at the right time can let you take an idea group 5 years earlier, at least around 5 years earlier, for each institution that you haven't embraced yet. And that's of course after you embrace it. But the very first thing you need to do is to take the tag, or if you wait a month or a day, then the points will go away. Hello, Atwix. You're going for world record again. I already did it. This is a recording. I've conquered the world by 1538. But I didn't use those many. I mean, by comparison with the Kyoto exploit, this was very light on exploits, but I did use something that's probably... I used some stuff that is probably not intended to be used the way that I used them, but yeah. But in this kind of runs, you're right, Atwix, everything is allowed for me except cheating, and yeah, basically. Why play bad on purpose? Because that would be playing bad if I didn't use them. If I had the Kyoto exploit available for this run, I would use it. It wouldn't be as fun, but I would use it. Wait, are you commenting on a recording? Yep, I am. You never commentate this much while in the let's kill them all zone. I think my commentary has improved through the years. Like, I actually my commentary, I always explain everything that I'm thinking, at least for the most part these days, unless I'm pissed with something. Like, I mean, like, I'm doing something and there's no one watching or no one interacts, and then well, why the hell am I talking to myself? So I stop commenting. It has happened, and unfortunately it's gonna happen again, and for sure. At least I've been doing this for a shit ton of years now, and that's what has happened so far. Nothing tells me that it's gonna change. So you're not seeing many commentary, either because I'm very tired and I said so, or because no one gives a shit. And I don't like to talk to myself. Do you think it's possible to make even faster with any custom nation setup? Yeah, it is. It should. Especially if you go for the easy or very easy setups. You can grab up to 20% discount on coring and 20% admin efficiency. You can grab ideas that reduce the war cost or score cost of provinces. It's ridiculously easy. Thanks for the kind words, Atwix. And Bast, thank you. So, what do I want to talk about more? This is getting to the end of the stream. We have 5 minutes left. So, you guys have any questions? Now would be the time. I think I've talked about most important stuff, but I'm a bit tired, like I said, and so I may be forgetting about something. I'm gonna use my usual setup for the armies. It's 10-10, 10 frontline mercenaries, 10 artillery. When the mercenaries can be used to siege stuff safely, I'll let the artillery sit on the fort and the mercenaries go do the carpet sieging. That happens a lot. For anti-rebel and for the fuck you rebel stacks that I usually use, the FUR, you ever see it, it's fuck you rebels. That's what that means. I'm gonna use exactly the amount of regiments needed to fill the combat with all infantry, maybe one cav once in a while. And Carlo the Curious just subscribed. Thank you for the 9th month in a row. Wow. We're getting to 1 year. Thanks, Carlo, for the support. Thank you. Thanks. Carlos still has the record of the cheers. He made the highest cheer in this chat, his channel. Very generous one. Thanks again for the great support, Carl. Man, I can't wrap my head around the 1530 world conquest, says Atwix. Yeah, you know, I'm pretty quick at doing world conquests. That's my expertise in U4. I remember when I stopped doing those for a while, I had to relearn how to play U4 as a known horde. I'm kidding, but I was like, I just conquered some territory, and there I go to raise it, and oops, no, I cannot raise it. And that was fun. So I'm using 10 stacks of mercenaries to do the sieging, and whenever possible. I'm mixing some regulars to try to save money, but I have a pretty big deficit, and I'm gonna keep having a pretty big deficit for the majority of the game. At some point, when I have 600, 700 overextension, and I'm trying to get rid of it, the corruption will still go up by 2 or 3 per year. So it's gonna be very hard to keep the corruption in check, because, well, even paying maximum, the corruption still goes up. That's another interesting thing to say. I did hit the debased currency a few times, but I would say the big chunk of the corruption was because of how the game works, the mechanics. At maximum, with the slider at the maximum, we can get rid of 1 overextension per year. At 700 overextension, that's 3.5 corruption per year, so it's still rising. Despite the slider, it's still rising 2.5 per year. So it's gonna be really difficult to keep the corruption in check. But on the other hand, corruption, even if I could keep it in check, corruption is good if it's only moderate. If you only have only moderate corruption, because it reduces the unrest. I would actually go for 10 corruption, even if at least 10 corruption. Even if I could keep it at 0, I would most likely go to 10 to grab the unrest reduction of -2. Thanks for the compliment on Atwigs. I remember full corruption in the Kyoto run, says Inside Toast. Yeah. It's a problem that I have. Admittedly, I am. How can I say it? It's a problem and it's a virtue, I think, which is I'm. I was pragmatic. So if I think that something is gonna work, and that's the end of the video. If I think that something's gonna work, I only strategize with enough to get it done. If I thought about it more, try to do a better interaction, I could even improve it further. As long as it achieves the objective, that's fine. But I could make it better if I really think about it, just like I did here. And there's probably ways to make it go faster. And with what I learned, I would probably cut 5 years from this if everything else was equal. Okay, let's see the timeline. It's gonna take a little bit to fire EU4, so bear with me. While I fire up EU4 to see the timeline, to show you the timeline. So, like I was saying, in retrospective, my gameplay in the Kyoto exploit, when I used it for the Kyoto exploit, was pretty, I'm sorry to say it, but pretty shitty. But it worked, so if I was gonna do the same game today with the Kyoto exploit, I would absolutely smoke this result this time. Okay, we're not seeing the game. About now, there we go, but this is wrong What the hell is wrong with this? Okay, sorry, let me adjust these. What the hell's going on? What the fuck? Okay, I don't stream for a while, so this is really buggy. The seriously, what the fuck? Okay, give me a moment. I had this setup. I had this setup for use it along with the DX story. It's been a while since I used that. I've been using this with DX story, so I'm gonna use it with DX story. It should fix the problem. Just a few more seconds, I'm sorry. Okay. Should be seeing it now. There we go. Looks nice. I need to see what's going on with the other setup. Okay, this looks nice, so let's keep it. So this is the well, save where I left it. Pretty shitty ruler. This guy's been ruling the country for, I don't know. Let's check. Previous rulers. The other guy lasted for a very long time. 12 years. This guy was really good, lasted for a very long time. Really good trades too. This was very, very lucky. So, do you want to see something from in this map, or should I go straight to the? Or should I go straight to the timeline? If you want to ask something, now it's the time before I end the stream. I had way more trade than this. This is showing this amount of trade because I shift the capital and I probably lost my trade companies. Actually, yeah, I did. Over here, I had much more production. Much more, I was making much more trade until I had to switch the capital, which screwed up these trade companies. Shouldn't have screwed them, but it did. Over here, I was making 300 ducats at some point. Of course, I also have overextension and a shit ton of war exhaustion, which reduces the goods produced modifier by a lot. I don't have many rebellions. And it was a very stable run until the last years, where And because of that, some rebels spawned. But as you can see, the country is extremely stable. Even though I have some rebels here and there, some of them I'm taking care of it. There's something else that I'm gonna talk about really quickly, which is an interesting behavior, which is if, and that's a mistake that I made, half mistake, and I didn't take advantage of it as I should have. So I was expecting the following behavior when we have a colonial nation. For example, over here there were some natives. I sent a colonist over here, colonized these, I started the colony, I annexed this guy, Arawak. The moment I annexed him, I couldn't core it. And I was expecting that. You know why? Because I didn't add the colonial nation. The moment that I spawned the colonial nation here in Mexico, I was then having a colony here lets us score this province and this one, anything, this works like if it's a capital. After you have a colonial nation in the new world, the colony, simply having a colony or an occupied province, say I occupied this province that used to belong to Kadu, and I was occupying it because I had the colonial nation over here and I had all these occupied. The game let me demand, say, this province, even though none of this was mine. It was just occupied. You know, this was only occupied. As long as there's no colonial nation over here, so we can strategize with this in mind. So we take a province, and then we can make separate peace treaties. The game will let us take the provinces. So I don't own anything up to there, but I'm at war with all these dudes, and this is all occupied. The game will let me take this province. I can take it, but I shouldn't core it until this is all conquered. It's something that I mean, I strategized with this in mind, but I didn't really take advantage of it like I should, and this cost me some time. What else? I think that's it. So I'm taking questions, last chance. How much OA did you? How much OA did you end up with? I've showed less than 200. Thank you. Atwix. Can you zoom out? I want to see your whole dominion. Sure. It's the whole world. So, the only colonial nations left. As you can see, I'm gonna show you the accepted cultures. So I kept switching from, so I had, at some point I had 5 diplomats with a very short traveling time. My capital used to be here. Over here, I even have it marked with these X's so that I don't develop it, because I would be shooting myself in the foot if I had developed these. So I clearly marked it so that I never developed it. And once in a while I even exploited the development, but that's another stuff. That's other stuff. Like why I was saying this. I lost my train of thought. Oh, all right, cultures. So my capital was over here. So this is a center position, very close to Europe, reasonably close to Asia, reasonably close to Africa, and I mean, of course, I have longer traveling times here, but over here it's just a few days, and to here it's just a few days. So great position, great place to put the capital in. So since the peace treaties only lasted, the traveling times were only a few days. With 5 diplomats, I could conclude enough peace treaties. If I started with 0 faction progress, I could then send out peace deals and grab like 1000 overextension, raise it down to 700, and core it all before the rebels could spawn. So I kept shifting first with the cultures in the periphery, if they were big enough, like this one's pretty big, pretty important. I also actually culture shifted to core these at some point because I had the diplo and I had the slot. I also culture shifted to core these. I think I also culture shifted to core these at some point, but it was not important. Over here I probably didn't culture shift, it's too small. Over here I definitely culture shifted at some point to core it. Same thing over here. I also culture shifted to core these, at least partially. It was not at least partially. I seem to remember that I did it, but the most important ones were definitely okay. This was already accepted from the beginning. This was important. This was an incredibly important. I think this was needed for to become the Golden Horde. All these major cultures, even this one, I actually ended up culture shifting to accept it. Over here, extremely important. Took a while for me to actually get rid of it or finish that. This one, I also ended up accepting that one. English, I was Scottish. I conquered this from Scotland right before going for England. And I did that trick, if I recall correctly, make a state, capture this from England, culture shifted, start coring, and so on. And French, I tried my best to take the provinces from, what's it called, Lorraine first, didn't actually make it, unfortunately. Before attacking France, didn't make it. I had to take like 300 overextension off of these guys and core it. It was really painful, lots of rebels. And yeah, some of them are still here, the last ones that I killed. These guys are in this culture group down here. Still relevant enough for me to actually shift to that. Then we have Romanian in the Carpathian. This one, for me to take out Hungary. Pretty big Hungary back then. Muscovite, Mongol. One of my last targets was my tributary, Chagatai. So I accepted it, finished to accept that. Burgundian to core France. And Portuguese to core Spain and Portugal. Hardest working diplomats in history, says Slug C for the win. Is this the fastest one yet? Yes, as far as I know. Is this a no exploit run? No. If I did it with absolutely the way the game was meant to be played, like whatever that means, I would probably not complete the world conquest before the end of the game. I'm just exaggerating a bit, but it is what it is. If we want to beat up some record, we have to use everything that we've got, except cheating. Do those extra 5% coring costs really make the difference? Asks Insane Toast. Yes, it's not the coring cost, it's the coring time. It reduces the coring time by 1 month for accepted for primary culture and 2 months for non-accepted cultures, which makes a gigantic difference because I mean it gives me more time to do the bestials. We have like 9 if everything is at 0. We have we can do bestials until everyone's at 20, and we may even do the bestials until some of them are at 30, and we take the chance. We fight some rebels, or we're extremely lucky and the rebels won't even spawn. So if I had 8 months scoring time, I would have 1 month to do the bestials, which is not enough. And the second month we would already be risking F to deal with rebels. Besides, it makes it easier, so less time, less scoring time, less time for the rebels to progress, you know? It makes a whole world of difference. That's why one of the reasons why I had to restart, because I didn't think about it truly, didn't think about it very well, and at some point, I think it was 1521 or something, I realized that I was not expanding fast enough, even though I was taking almost 300 or 275, give or take, overextension per year. It was not enough. So I had to restart and become the Golden Horde sooner. So maybe mention. Did you ever do no exploit runs on very hard with one province miner? I would consider donating to see you doing Tongu or something else. I already did it at Twix. I think I am the only person that has the 3 mountains as Ryukyu at very hard, one tag without using any exploits. It's already on YouTube for like, I don't know, 1.5 years, give or take. Thank you. But I do plenty of runs without exploits. Say my one culture, I did one culture with no exploits. I did a trick at the beginning or two, but with no consequences. It was like right at the very beginning, and I stopped using it. I did it once or twice, just to get rid of some. But it didn't matter. From that point on, I didn't use a single exploit. Sometimes I use exploits for these runs, but the majority of the times I don't use them. Maybe mention mention the list of what exploits you used in the forum. Says tip. The reason why I channeled the people to this stream is because writing takes a very long time, and while I'm watching the video, I remember. And that's why I don't like to do. I usually don't do tutorials because it requires a script, and I mean I already spent a shit ton of time playing and streaming, and now I have 4 hard drives completely full of video that I need to edit because sometimes I was like, oh shit, I left this running while I went to the bathroom, or when I went for a run, and I have like 40 minutes of video that, or 50, that there's nothing happening, so that needs to be edited. I have several terabytes of video to edit. That's why I channeled the people here. If they watch the first half an hour of this stream, they get the idea of what happened. If they see the whole video, they'll actually have a bag full of tricks that they can use for their runs. So, I mean, that's a good thing. Maybe someone would like to make a summary, help me out with that. Okay. The idea is to prevent rebels from spawning before you core it. Yes, yes. Exactly. Okay, let's see the timeline. while I read the chat a little bit more. Yeah, slowly. So I started as Ming, like I said. I know Atwix, don't worry. So I'm reading the chat, that's why this is going very slowly, and this is a very short run, so if I put this too fast, I'll be in Europe before you know it, so that's why this is going so slowly. So you stream a recording live, right? That's what I'm doing right now, but this is pretty rare. Are you planning some follow-ups? Asks Steve. I mean, I have so many hours of these. But if people want it, maybe I'll do it. Or I can start a brand new stream, a brand new campaign. And you can, you can watch it on YouTube at 2 times the normal speed or 4 times. But yeah, maybe. Enough people want it. So, as you can see, it's 1492 and you can see the rhythm of expansion. It's crazy. And when this gets, now I have the full idea groups. Now, I mean, I have the 3 idea groups. This is gonna speed up the conquest by so much in just a few years. At this time, I'm expanding at over 300 development per year. And I kept going at that rhythm until the end. Now it picks up even more speed because I have faster quarrying times. And before you know it, this will all be yellow. It's 14, 14, 15, 14. This took a shit ton of time playing at speed 1, speed 2, sometimes speed 1. Most of the time speed 2. Lots of pauses, like I said. Lots of breaks to try to figure out what I should do next. And so on. And yeah, over here I lost lots of time. There we go. So this will be then the end of the stream, I guess. We could watch this once again. I don't know. Maybe still early for me to go to bed. Even though I should, because I haven't slept very much. So I'm taking... Thanks, Bast. You can put this on YouTube. Yes, I will. So you could do it faster as an on-horde with Ming. I don't know. No, it's... I mean, I don't like to use the word impossible, but I've thought about everything with regard to the Mughals, to Ming, to... I mean, many plans didn't even leave the... were not even put in practice, because by comparison with these, they have no chance whatsoever of beating these, in my opinion. The Mughals, they're very good with their built-in +3 tolerance of Edens and 25 core creation cost discount, but they cannot raise. If I want to make a Mughals, keep Mughals as a horde, and I can do that, I start as a horde switch to Mughals, still be a horde. It takes forever and one day just to come up with that. And it has the opportunity costs are gigantic. The being the Emperor of China is absolute shit in this patch. So we have like the Mughals light version, the Golden Horde. Yep, did not leave the drawing board. Yep. That's right, Carlo the Curious. I mean, I'm saying this with my today's knowledge of the game, today's knowledge, which is better than it was 1 year ago. In the meantime, things might change, and I might figure out some another way to do this even faster. But with my current knowledge, this is the best time. This was the best thing that I could come up with. And like I said, I could, with the knowledge that I've grabbed with playing this campaign that you're seeing, I know I can do even better in like at least another. I can cut another 5 years out of this time if everything else is equal. But this is a very random game, so lots of random chance. So I would need everything to be equal, and those improvements would maximize these, but we never know. So that's it. Yeah, I became Hindu. Warp Kitty. By the way, I'm glad that you talked about it, because that's important, and I forgot to say it. In the previous stream, I used rebels to become Hindu. In this, but that delayed me. At some point, I remember saying, "Okay, this is getting out of hand. These dudes need to die," and I started killing the rebels, the Hindu rebels, and that was counterproductive. So what I did in this patch is what I did in, if I recall correctly, 1.14 for the most part, at least. But that run I didn't record it. I did a run where I played. I think I played very well with regard to the religion, where I took exactly the needed provinces to become the religion that I wanted to become, to grab. And that's what I did in this run. I went for the Hindu provinces, then I just put a missionary and accepted the demands and became Hindu. No freaking annoying zealots to slow me down, because they... Oh, another thing, you know, I always say, these damn rebels, they always go for the uncored provinces. But that's not true. The rebels don't go for the uncored provinces. They go for the unrest. If there's unrest in a province, they go for it. If there's, and usually the places where we have unrest are the places that are not cored. So it was difficult for me to understand, to spot it, because usually when the province is not cored, it has a shit ton of unrest. But and then I realized that that's not true. They go for the unrest. If the province is uncored but has no unrest, they don't give a shit about the province. It's just the same thing as any other regular province. If it has unrest, it's like magnets. So thanks guys for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the stream. And I'm gonna have a very busy week, so most likely I'll be able to stream next Saturday. I don't know how. In the meantime, I'm gonna make a poll. I'm gonna put a poll in my homepage here on Twitch, so that you can vote and tell me what you want to see next. If you want to see me commenting this a little bit more, or if you want to see a brand new run of EU4 or something else. So again, thanks for joining me, for keeping me company. The streams will continue like I used to do. This break, like I said before, was only because of this run. I usually only do these once a year or so. So I'll see you guys next Saturday. I hope. If I don't manage to stream next Saturday, it's because I didn't manage to do everything that I needed to do. But I'll promise you, it's guaranteed that I'll be back next week with a shit ton of streams. So I'll see you then. Take care.